Hey, Oak, Ben here, and I found a really cool, it's not a game, just a really cool tool with all this talk about nuclear war. Ignore these, we're centering it on the Federal Reserve because, you know what, fuck the Federal Reserve. And we're just going to detonate various nuclear weapons. This is the smallest one you can test, a 20-ton explosion, and yes, we do have, what? Oh, I forgot to recenter it. Shit. Um, Totally wasn't just looking at people I know and if how screwed they would be if we had a nuclear blast. I'm going to center this on the Federal Reserve. Okay, and this is a Davy Crockett blast, and we're going to do it. This is the tiniest one that I can give, and we're going to only use real ones. And we're going to redetonate this one. And I decided to do New York because this is probably the most densely populated area I can get. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, so obviously, definitely and this is just for a surface. This is just a surface blast. Most of them would use air bursts, which I'm not going to mess with. I just don't want to. So we're going to move up to to what they assume a crude terrorist weapon would be, which is not that much higher, but it's still pretty big. And then we're going to go through 3 North Korean ones. Maybe not. And this was North Korea's first attempt. At least according to them. We're just going to go straight to 2013 one. Which now we're starting to get some... Oh, there goes the Brooklyn Bridge. But as you can tell, there's not much of an effect outside of it. I mean, obviously it would be much bigger than this. Wait a second. Yep, I was about to say, that's where Street Circuit is, but I'm not going to say anything. Got distracted. See, not even Ellis Island is it, but I don't even believe that. I think the effects would be a lot larger. And then this is what somebody else would assume a terrorist one would be. And at this point, I think they added in wind direction. Oh. Is that because I still have the wind meter over here? Yeah, okay. Oops. We're still nuking the Federal Reserve. And why don't we just put the wind going this direction? And that should show you where you'd feel some effects, all the way down to Trenton almost. Okay, and we're going to move this up to the famous little boy. This is Hiroshima. Which doesn't look all that big. Let's go to Nagasaki. Still not terribly big. Now we're going to move up to Pakistan and India, who for a while most people thought they were the two who would most likely get into a nuclear war. And they do hate themselves, or hate each other. And we're going to go show you the largest Indian weapon, which you're finally getting Ellis Island. This is where Statue of Liberty is. You're getting a little bit of Jersey City. This is Manhattan. Forget where Staten Island is, but we'll probably see it here in a little bit. We're going to go through 3 U.S. weapons. This one is also apparently in the UK. Again, not gigantic, but as you can see, it doesn't have to be a large explosion just because of the location. If I were to put this in the middle of Wyoming, you'd probably see this wouldn't be a very effective weapon in Wyoming. You'd need quite potentially the biggest one. And we're going to show you the Minuteman, which now we're starting to get some, real effects. Some largest one. Apparently, let's go through and see what the largest French weapon. Not that big, honestly. Oh, there goes Times Square. And we still haven't even really touched upon Central Park yet. Different Minuteman rocket. Now we're going through here. I think that's Broadway. Oh, we've also taken out the UN headquarters, so there's that. Largest pure fission weapon. I'm going to ignore that for a second. And now you see the tail. You're actually seeing effects down on the Delmarva Peninsula and down in Dover. This area is not that hugely populated. Well, sort of. But you're seeing effects all the way in the Chesapeake. Let's look at the typical Russian weapon. And here's the thing. Russian weapons, at least this is from places I found them. I won't provide the sources because I had an extremely painful time finding them the last time. And I don't really want to bother with finding them again. But basically, Russian weapons are larger than American weapons, but American weapons are more accurate, or Russian weapons are kind of point and fire. American are put it where you want it, and it goes right there. So here we have the typical Russian weapon is a lot bigger than your typical American weapon. The largest, now we're going to look at the Minuteman I, which is 1 megaton. Okay, that's pretty big. Now let's look at the largest bomb in the U.S. arsenal, which is 1.2 megatons. Okay, you've basically taken out most of New York City, but still, you're not... And now, China... Which one are we going to do now? Soviet missiles that were involved in the Cuban Missile Crisis. And see, this is why the Cuban Missile Crisis was such a big deal. this was the missile they were putting on Cuba, and yeah, kind of big. Okay, Chinese weapon. They probably have a lot smaller ones. Almost accidentally detonated in 1961. A U.S. H-bomb. And here we go. And then, of course, we have some fallout, a little area where... And now we're hitting Washington, D.C. And for those of you who know, this is Farmville. This is where Longwood University, where the vice presidential debate was. Let's see. Richmond gets some effects. And of course, D.C. would be hit, and I'll show you the largest bomb in certain areas. Okay. And the Titan II warhead, which is the largest one that the U.S. ever deployed, would basically take out Newark, New York, apparently Yonkers. It's a pretty big one. And then the first H-bomb, the Ivy Mike, which was 10.4. Now you're seeing effects all the way down in Charlotte. You probably, yeah, you're all, just because of the wind direction. The largest U.S. bomb ever tested at 15 megatons. Now you're getting some effects in Raleigh. Hell, you're getting some effects in South Carolina. For those of you who watch House of Cards, you know where this town is. And now, this is the largest bomb ever tested. The Tsar Bomba. It's a USSR bomb. I'm actually going to go ahead and show you where it was tested. It was tested on this island. There are towns here. You know what? My bet is... Okay. So there are towns on this island. Okay. Cold, desolate place, but okay. They're probably just military bases. And now the largest bomb the Russians ever designed, which was twice as big as the one they actually tested. Okay. Now let's center the blast on Washington, D.C. I'm just going to put them on locations that we might encounter. Oh, whoops. Okay. I'm going to need to get another one. I'm trying to think. Chicago, definitely be taken out. Just to show you, and this is assuming, of course, Seattle. we'd probably take out the entire Bay Area, so I'd probably just put it right here. Probably going to want to take out San Diego is a pretty big military town, so you'd want to take out San Diego. San Antonio as well, you'd probably want to get. You know what, Dallas and Fort Worth as well. Trying to think, Kansas City. I'm only going to do 15, so I'm trying to think of other massive military areas. Fayetteville, North Carolina. There we go. And remember, just because... Where's Fort Stewart? Or, no, not Fort Stewart, I'm sorry. Is it Fort Stewart? I'm trying to remember where Fort Jack. Okay, I need to set a... What was the most recent one I did? Fayetteville. Okay. Fort Benning, that was it. You definitely want to take out Fort Benning. I think it is Fort Jackson on this side. And you want to detonate there. Probably take out Jacksonville. Okay. Now, 13. I'm going to take out the Twin Cities. Probably Detroit as well, to be quite honest with you. And I'm at 14, so this would be 15. This is assuming a nation had 1,500 megaton nuclear bombs, which is not likely. And this is actually the largest they can do their calculator for. Okay, so you're taking out some prominent military locations. You're also taking out some huge population centers. So you'd wind up getting this many deaths and this many injuries from each blast. And you're also taking out the national government. Now, I'm going to clear all effects, and I'm going to show you why those would be the locations you detonate them in, and why you wouldn't want to detonate one in, say, the middle of Wyoming. Why Wyoming is probably the safest place you can be. Maybe not the safest. And actually, it'd be a really horrible idea to put it here. Because you'd cause a lot more problems than the fact that you would get hit. I mean, you could also probably put it in the middle of South Dakota. But South Dakota actually has some sort of population. However, if we were to hit in the middle of Wyoming, that place probably has literally 0 people. We're going to detonate that 100 megaton nuke, and yeah, we're getting a lot of injuries. but literally only 20 people would die from the actual effects. However, I think probably the safest place you could be, maybe not. By the way, if you ever want to look at something fun, look at the border between the U.S. and Canada. On a satellite map. But we're already at 20 minutes, so I'm just gonna map. I wonder. Yeah, this is another funny one. This is another funny location because they expected this lake to look a lot different than it did. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed, and hope this scared you a little bit. Thank you. Bye.